So if I am in Bollywood, I'm coming with a huge 25 kilo bag of audacity. आपके पास क्या है? मेरे पास वहाँ है और audacity है. It was surprising to me after Kareeb Kareeb Single that I was only getting characters like that. I was so lucky that Tanuja and Ghazal saw me. I couldn't believe I was going to work with Irfan. The masks that you put to function will become your skin. I realized this happened to me from the moment Takeoff became a super hit or Uyere became a super hit, Charlie, Bangalore Days. Suddenly I was like, why am I feeling unstable and not more confident? There was something very astrologically speaking, Aries about me in terms of do the thing first and then think about what it may have cost. I'll be a wrong actor to work with directors who want the cleanest looks and the most sophisticated, sanitized acting. So there's that. That's a different category. Sorry, what was your question?
Parvati, welcome to Variety India.
Thank you, Tushar.
I've been waiting this for a really long time.
Me too.
Let's time travel.
Okay.
I want to take you back to your first ever sensory experience of a sight and sound of a film. Small screen, big screen. Take me through it.
It could be two, but my first theatre experience of watching a movie was Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. I was living in Noida with my parents. I was UKG, I guess. There wasn't much money to like go to theatres and watch movies a lot. We had like an Onida TV, a very tiny one. I remember that very clearly. And the song used to, which was the song before Joote Do, Paise Do, Joote Lo, Paise Do.
Joote Do Paise Lo. There was Pehla Pehla Pyar. Was
Yeah,
the romantic one?
yeah, but not the romantic one, where these guys are fighting basically for shoes.
There were some
Which I
17
didn't
songs.
understand anything when I was in UKG. And I was like just mesmerized, Didi Tera Devar Divana, and watching that beautiful green on Madhuri Dixit and the way she was dancing. I was like, what? And then, of course, Mohra. I mean, that was my theatre experience. It's like tattooed in my brain. And then I remember watching Mohra ka songs in front of the... And you know, there's a pelvic thrust that Saif Ali Khan and Akshay Kumar does in that. What's that song? Hum dono hai alag
Main
alag.
Khiladi
That
Tu
one.
Anadi.
That's the one. And Mohra is also... Mohra is the other
Cheese
one.
Badi Hai Mast
Cheese
Mast.
Badi Hai Mast
Raveena
Mast.
Tandon, Akshay Kumar.
Dude, me standing in front of that TV and doing pelvic thrusts, trying to imitate them is like a core memory for my parents. They bring it up every other time. It's like, oh, that's when it started, they say. That's my origin story as an actor, according to them. But
The imprint.
yeah. So, but that made me the performer in the family regardless. Like anybody comes home, beta gana gao, beta dance karo, beta ye karo. There were times I would be creating stories and like I'm the character, I'm the director, I'm the writer, and I'll just be sitting in the main room and talking to myself, creating dialogues and doing that. Then I'll turn around, all the adults are just looking at me like, should we be concerned, or like, is this like a fun? She has an imaginary friend. ठीक है, let's let it be. But I didn't think that will like travel through all my life. The idea that I can make believe and have fun and find a sort of refuge. That's what happened. In fact, the last time when anybody asked me this, my core memory was watching Susmita Sen's interviews, because I'm a huge fan, and I just loved how articulate and like she has a I don't know what you call it. She's a base level that she doesn't veer away from, and she smiles, and there's a punctuation in the pace that she speaks, and I was like, wow, I want to be like her. I think she became the epitome of the kind of woman I wanted to be. So that influence was there, but that's when I was in like 9th grade.
Sure.
But I haven't traveled back in time so much for me to remember this one. So I would say Tu Cheez Badi Hai Mast Mast, Chura Ke Dil Mera. These are my first memory of films more than Malayalam films. Because we were in Noida for 3 to 4 years. And even when we came back, it was KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya. So all my friends were Hindi-speaking people.
Where did you reach to that point that girl at 17 made her first film debut?
Amma always was very excited about sending me to all the arts and crafts and stuff she couldn't do as a kid, purely because of financial constraints. She got married to this wonderful man who didn't realize that he's probably by default a feminist. There were unrealized dreams of my mom and dad, which are not in the more mainstream space. Amma wanted me to experience art without worrying about money. Achan wanted me to think about life as not like तुम्हें शादी नहीं करनी है. Are you going to be happy is what we need to know. Are you going to be safe is what we need to know. I think we revisit this conversation
Yeah.
so many times. So much like this, my mom took all the initial steps to take me for, let's say, a pageant or a dance show or dance classes. I used to hate it. Mom used to be like Bharatanatyam dances and you know the aramandi that you have to sit and I used to sit and cry कि क्यों करवा रहे हो मुझसे. But now I realize that she was genuinely wanting to give me a chance that she probably didn't get. So all my conversations with them started from them having some sort of this insane trust कि I'll make it work. Or maybe I had that performativeness in me. The impression I give is of a confidence कि कैसे भी करके ना मैं कर लूँगी.
Fake it till you make it.
And I'll figure it out and I'll have fun doing it. So I think my parents relied a lot on my confidence. I never, from a very young age, told them what script I'm taking. They never asked.
Wow.
And so they fully relied on my decision-making skills. And I believe I now realize that's a rarity. कि इतना trust कैसे आ गया उनको मेरे ऊपर.
You once said that at 17 you were fearless.
Yeah.
But now your understanding of courage and being fearless must have evolved, right? What does courage look like to Parvati in 2026?
I remember being in my parents' house and having this thought, very vivid memory of sitting on the floor by the bed, thinking like failure is not an option. Like ऐसा है ही नहीं. Before all this manifestation stuff became mainstream, I remember thinking there's no choice. You will have to succeed. How and when इसके बारे में चिंता नहीं करने का है. This is who you're going to be. You're going to be an actor. You're going to be somebody who is amazing at the craft and you'll keep working. So to also attach to what you asked earlier, my parents used to give me money to go to internet cafes so that I can sit and watch when YouTube had just come out.
Yeah.
Inside the Actor Studio series, James Lipton, I used to take notes. And the number of times I have rewatched a Jodie Foster interview or a Kate Blanchett interview is like taking supplements every single day or something. So after school, I'd go by the internet cafe until we could afford a system ourselves. And so I never gave myself the choice ki failure nahi hai. We are going to be an actor and we'll do it. Cut to today, I can't wait to fail because there's something that a friend of mine said a long time ago. He said nothing fails like success. You don't know how it'll creep up and find ways to make you complacent. And slowly your face changes. Like the masks that you put to function will become your skin. You won't realize.
Wow.
And I realized this happened to me from the moment Takeoff became a super hit or Uyere became a super hit, Charlie, Bangalore Days. Suddenly I was like, why am I feeling unstable and not more confident? The struggling days were the best years for me because I showed up purely, there was a pure presence when it came to my performances. Now there's a lot of noise outside. I remember putting my phone under a pillow and just leaving the house because it won't stop ringing and I didn't know what to do with that. There was a requirement to separate attention, spotlight from you, the actor, the person who is experiencing life and the craft for yourself first. And then the rest happens. So this has become a meditation for me. And I am moving on. Let's say now I'm here sitting and talking to you. I'm doing the kind of films that I'm doing now. I can't wait to fail in the sense that I don't want the weight of people's expectations that I must succeed. वो expectation मेरे ऊपर डालने का right सिर्फ मुझे है, not anybody else. Like just because I've been here for 20 years and I've done so many films and there have been super hits, do not demand success from me, please. I'm also a person who's figuring out what art is, how the art fits her life, nourishes her heart, and where our ethics lie according to the politics of the world. इसके ऊपर ये it feels like a heavy burden to carry. So I want to direct films now. I want to produce films. I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to do so many things beyond the image, whatever the image is of Parvati Tiruvota. And I now feel like that 19-year-old self all over again. ready to be a nobody in the sense कि anytime anybody is like अगला picture अगर super, I was like, please take that away from me. Like, I don't care.
I'm very curious to know this bit because you're talking about how the pressures of success and how you deal with them, how you shut off the noise around you. But just look at your filmography. And I'm not talking about just box office success. I'm talking about the consistency of work you've been doing. Then when you say all of this, I'm really curious to know, where does this confidence come from? And did it come instantly or it took a while?
No, I think it was quite instant. There was something very astrologically speaking, Aries about me in terms of do the thing first and then think about what it may have
Later.
cost. Because the doing of the thing first comes from a certain intuition, intelligence of your intuition, a collective awareness of you as a person, as a woman that exists. I don't know how I stood up for myself or other people in school the way I did. I almost got suspended for speaking up when a boy morphed my images during a school trip. And I couldn't believe I could get suspended for standing up for myself. And these things became sediments that became the mountain on top of which I'm standing with my, loudspeaker now. And for some reason, these things didn't get washed off. It just became the foundation on which. So I feel like that kept happening from a very young age before I became an actor. So the confidence, though, is that when I say failure, I don't mean commercial failure. I mean ki I want to try something new in an art form and not be so good at it. Because these days especially, we have a culture where you try to do something, you have to be immediately the best at it. So we are missing out on the beginner stage of things, going for pottery class. And obviously, you won't be building the best vase like right at the first go. It'll crumble, it'll keep crumbling. Why did we take that away from our human experience? Fumble, stumble, fall, learn. We got here, like that's the basic tenet of being human. Even in love, right? So how come we have this very unrealistic standard kept for not only actors, but for you, but for journalism, for everybody? The point is that when we know better, we do better. And I have stuck to this moral code, so to speak. And I can criticize myself, and I like it. But when people say कि I think आपका pace ना थोड़ा ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, maybe आपको इस party में जाना चाहिए. Listen, for 20 years I didn't do this. I was barely present in any social events. Like there are things that I have smuggled into my characters people won't even find. But that's the sort of layering that somehow works for directors. Like one of my directors recently, the best thing that he told me when I wrapped shoot is that Parvati will just walk and she'll just do something that is just not a walk. That's because I would have seen enough women do something and I'll keep plugging in. Where did this come from? I watched Smita Patil with microscopic precision in Ardha Satya. There is this shot I keep talking about where in Ardha Satya, the first shot I believe of Smita Patil's character coming out of her room to the matron's room in the hostel. She's wearing this really nice, stiff, whitish sari with, the blouse, and she's just putting the pin as she's walking to the matron's thing. And I remember rewinding it so many times, ki like, how has she made it look like that's the way she puts the pin in her thing and puts it every morning. So ये आसमान से टपकी नहीं है. Still, before we see them on screen, there's a life that they've lived. And that became my North Star in all my acting. Is that before you see me on screen, and the first shot you see me, it should look like she's lived a life before. It's not like tab diya hai costume, And so that sort of a, obsession to want to live that journey is, I guess, what gives me the confidence. And that also gives me clarity whom to work with and whom to not. Because I'll be a wrong actor to work with directors who want the cleanest looks and the most sophisticated, sanitized acting. I'm not the person for them. I wouldn't enjoy it either. So then we are not a match. So it would be great if they go with somebody who does that really well. So that clarity also gives me immense confidence.
Today, what are your non-negotiables that you're very consistent and hard on?
I think it's more of a moral code than anything else these days. When I work with a set of people, their intention of filmmaking was the one that I used to look at. कि उनको कैसे बनानी है picture. ऐसा नहीं है कि उनके editing style में कैसा है or how it should look or what music they will use. I'm like, why do they want to make this film? There were directors I have met who want to make films so that they can be actors later. Cool, good for you. I'm not the one for you though. Because if you come in from the visionary point of view, then I can be the clay you want me to be, and we will have a great time. But if I can't match a director's excitement at least 80% during the narration, then I won't be able to bridge that 20%. So this is some sort of a Parvati math that I figured out at a very, very young age. And that continues still. So initially it used to be that the character needs to be of consequence. That still continues to be a very hard and fast rule. But that doesn't mean that she needs to be in the movie in every frame and every scene.
Yeah.
It can be 5 scenes and it can still be the most consequential character for that story. And that I really like too. So what I do, and this is a trick a screenplay writer told me, is when you get a screenplay, read it without any judgment first, sleep on it, like literally go to sleep, forget about it. The next morning, assess what is staying with you. Is it curiosity? Or is it, कितना पैसा मिलेगा देखते हैं, शायद करना पड़ेगा. That? And that's also okay, because we have to put food on the table. Or is it that you have questions? Or is it like, nah, I can't remember the story. So it's literally dependent on my sleep. Like I have a meeting, I go home, I'll forget about it. And the next morning, if I feel like this itch, कि मुझे जानना है ज़्यादा यार, ये लड़की ने ऐसे क्यों किया? Or if I have some disagreements. So this still continues. These are all different layers and pages in the book that I have added over the years. What is different now though is that I feel a certain levity has come into my general way of looking at films. Because I'm also able to see from a very business point of view what is working, what's not working, and how studios and producers are scrambling to make things work.
Yeah.
And much like anything else in life, the more you try to take a fistful of sand and
Slips.
And the fact is, it's like a hamster wheel. They keep doing that. So it somehow bodes well with me to be a little off-center in the industry. Because I get to observe it and not be in the center of the whirlwind. And be like chaos. So I can step back and see, hey, where can my contribution go in? So it has become a bit more from that point of view.
POV.
That point of view is like, how do I shift the needle on this a little bit? How can I inspire confidence for a bunch of new people to come in and do something different? And that is something that I have learned only after being here for this long. Otherwise, my whole thing was just, तुम्हारा character क्या कर रहा है और तुम्हारा ही कर. Which was all I knew, but now I know more. Now I know I can do all of this and this as well. So that is what has shifted now. I've also have this immense clarity ki like dramatic roles come to me like a moth to flame.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that I have worked hard and like I'm in deserving space to be in that. And I'm proud. But I also want, other muscles are getting atrophied a bit. So I would love to do comedy and a bit more of thrillers and like really bad characters, like horrible humans. I want to understand what makes some of us do the most atrocious things. Because not to be like too bookish about it, Tushar, I genuinely feel this job is one of the most beautiful practicing anthropological space to be in. It creates empathy so much if you focus on it.
Yeah.
Nothing can piss you off really. Everything can annoy you. But let's say for some reason you're behaving a certain way with me, you're being very sweet with me today and then like a week later kuch some gadbad hai. I'd be more curious to know what happened than how could you? Because I'm not that important in the large scheme of things. And acting will keep reminding you, contrary to the notion that actors are self-obsessed and narcissistic, unko sirf, they only see themselves. I truly believe a true actor is a vehicle for humans to reflect themselves. So if I am that vehicle, wouldn't I also hold empathy out for you?
I love your take on how you are having so much fun. Isn't that the core of it then? Like your sleep and the fun part. Two things that you're definitely not compromising on.
But I've been told by so many people like, कुछ film नहीं मिल रहा है ना आपको, like काम like छोड़ दिया क्या and all that. It's
Who are
so
these people? I want to
cool.
meet them.
So many of them like, and I'll be like, and then they'll see me, and then they'll be like, Acha, now you're getting a lot of. I'm like, there is a metric in your brain which I refuse to partake in. Because मेरा तो बस मौज ही मौज चल रहा है. So like then why would I be?
I'm also very curious to know then, because you have this knack of not doing the same, getting bored very easily. What's next? Throw it at me. I'll take it on. You think that's impossible? I'll do it. You think this doesn't suit my whatever IMDb
Yeah.
profile list? I'll do it. Is there a ritual that you have for clearing the slate before you get into the next, the undoing, unlearning part?
For the longest time, I chose to do only one project at a time. And it was a hard and fast rule for me. I'll do one project, and after the project is done, I'll spend 3 to 6 months to even a year sometimes before I take up another project. I kept telling myself I'm not in a rush to get anywhere because time will pass anyway. So it's in the quality of how you're spending that time. But last year, something happened. I was not getting the kind of work that I was expecting to get. So let's say on-set काम नहीं मिल रहा था for a long period of time. That obviously puts a certain pressure fiscally for you, right? So then when I started getting projects, very interesting projects, I was like, maybe for once, Parvati, let's try doing several projects. Let's see what happens. Maybe not a good idea. Because what I realized is that my nervous system, my body, my mind, the elasticity of my heart and mind, how I compute emotions, were very used to a certain rigid structure. It felt like usko nikal ke mixie mein dal diya. And it went on 5, level 5 or something. Because in the last 1 year, I have done, now I've never gotten more of an average of 2 per year maybe.
Okay.
In just the last 5 months, I've done 4 projects. And regardless of how big and small my characters are, it is still an entire journey of a human in my brain.
Sure.
And to separate one from the other, long hours, flying in and out, all those things. I've only heard of actors who do this. Was never one of them, and I was proud of it as well. Ki rejuvenation has to be done. Here it was getting overlapped. Here I was having massive, vivid nightmares every time I slept because I didn't know who I was anymore. What costume? I forgot all the clothes I owned. I forgot the stuff I needed to do for Parvati because I was constantly holding like 5 of these women. Of course, I have therapy and that works. But I felt like getting pushed into this edge made me reassess whether you do need to clear your mind. Because sometimes you can build over and over it. And in that space, you might get a certain output to perform a certain way. That is still amazing. So what I'm getting at is a bit esoteric in nature, is that who decides what's right or wrong, how a character should be. Now, if I was a very well-rested, couple of months of break and all that and come to a particular movie, I would have performed that particular scene in a different way. Now, I have come highly stressed with 2 hours of sleep, but I'm still present and talking and I'm high on caffeine. And I've given one kind of another performance. My director liked that also. So why did I put that pressure on me कि ऐसे ही करना चाहिए? So I think I'm in that era of life where I'm questioning all the rules I set for myself and like throwing myself in the mixie grinder. See what comes out. Jail to nahi jaoge tum. So let's just try that. And I think now rejuvenation means tinier moments being stretched out to big things. So I'm realizing things have sort of changed in its grammar for me. I used to say I don't have the time to watch any films, yaar. Kaam hai itna to. But now I'm binge watching everything. So I'm like, time is such an elastic concept. If you decide to keep, and then there is AI happening. So suddenly I'm signing up for courses to study. So in between doing 5 projects, there are 2 different courses I'm taking like classes, which is at 1 a.m. and all that. Between shoot ke beech mein ho sakta hai ye sab kuch. So the more eggs in your basket, the better the omelette, I guess. It wasn't the case for me 2 years ago. But right now, it has entered a space ki the more the chaos and the more zen you have, you can take more out of it. You can squeeze more out of it.
What do you make of this whole notion that Parvati speaks her mind, and are there any misconceptions about you that you would like to clear?
I've gotten to a stage where there was a period where I wanted to explain myself more. And I felt like that all the platforms were taken away from me because very quickly became someone who was extremely disliked for her value systems, for having questioned things that bigger superstars were part of. And that was a huge reality check. Like that took a physiological toll on me. Even though like my mind can make up ways to pretend that I'm okay, but my body's intelligence always, she's like, my body's the mother. Like she will be like, sit down, you're doing too much. So it had to be through that experience of being sort of shoved to the side. I genuinely thought if you do all the right things, you give the best performances, and your movies are super hits and making money, no matter what else you do, you'll still get that because, hey, talent is what matters, right? And bringing people to the theater is what matters. Like, remember, like, I think it was Amir Khan's interview where he was saying ki it's about who fills the theater. I was able to do both. And then how did I get cast out? So then I realized it is the base level is the belief that women are completely dispensable. Not me, women. You can be a huge superstar, but you can still be cast out. You can still bring a lot of money, still cast out because of the discomfort you bring to the table, of the more you know, the more power you hold. If I speak up and again my movies become a hit, my power gets doubled in terms of influence, which means people who are exploiting things will have lesser opportunities to do that. So of course they will come together. Like there is nothing like the unity of the extremists and the misogynists. They are amazing at it. We could learn a thing or two, the liberals, of how they come together for the cause of what benefits them. I'm a human trying to do the best they can. When I know better, I do better. And there are witnesses to my life like this. How can I feel that anything needs to be explained further? I have let go of the requirement to explain myself.
I wouldn't say your audience keeps you on your toes, but they also hold you responsible and they almost have this ownership over you. I feel that with the kind of work that you do,
Yeah.
the love that they have for you, they almost feel like she owes us to us now that she does this. She
Yeah.
owes to us now. She tries her hand at something different. She it's that ownership.
Yeah.
It's exactly like you mentioned. This is my craft. This is my relationship with my audience. I'm not gonna let anything.
In Delhi, and this was again feminism related something. And I came down from the panel and a young boy came up to me and he said, Parvati, I love that you give your interviews in a certain way. You've become the reason on the dinner table me and my dad and mom fight enough to sustain critical thinking as a capacity in us. I didn't understand this until like earlier this year. Is that I think we need to learn to hold critical thinking debates within our echo chamber of friends and family just for fun, not to prove somebody right and wrong. But what if? I think that we are losing it. There is an erosion of critical thinking in our society currently because we are all agreeing on everything. But this is an echo chamber. We don't know. This happened because I actually met with an incel recently. I didn't know how to react. My jaw was on the floor for 2 hours when this person was speaking with such conviction that women don't deserve any of these freedoms. Like it's better for them that they are slaves. And I was like, I thought I could speak. I lost my voice because I haven't met one in the wild this close. I only read about them. I was like, you're real. And I realized at that point ki I have done a disservice to myself and my intelligence and my knowledge by not researching enough, by not practicing my debating skills or my capacity to hold a conversation anymore, because I've taken it for granted ki Tushar, you'll understand me, my fans will understand me. Complacent ho gayi ki nahi main. So now I've gone back to the table to be a student again. Why am I taking all these courses suddenly?
Start from scratch.
Yeah. Because feminism is not like, हाँ मैंने एक definition पढ़ लिया, हाँ सीख गई सब कुछ.
Yeah.
Our political scenario is also changing so much that we are all getting impacted. We are not exempt from the gas crisis, are we?
Yeah.
So isn't that the best equalizer we have? And how is this not like a warm hug when actors and entertainers talk about this? It equalizes, it calms, it soothes public. During World War, there were pianists and
Yes.
like the pianists, like artists were more in demand because they needed to soothe public who are aware of, they were not creating random songs. They were creating musical masterpieces based on the grief, the collective grief that was happening. They didn't feed a system, they were feeding the people. So I don't understand how us talking about the gas crisis is not like of the industry. I think, hey, hello, this should feel like a warm hug together. कि like हम सब हैं इसमें. So wherever I feel that divisiveness, it's going away now. How my fans keep me accountable
Yeah.
also. That's the part that you were telling me. This person, I love it when I go out in public and people don't expect me to look a certain way. They don't expect me to smile. They don't get offended when I say I don't want to take a picture. Instead, I would rather make an eye contact and have them ask me how my day was. And I'd ask them their name, where they're from. And for that, I would have lived a better life. Sometimes I do give pictures and I enjoy that also. I'll take the photo. I'll take good selfies. I enjoy that also. Enjoyment Pro Max, wo important hai. But there are women who have come and hugged me, especially mothers and much older women, who come and they hug me by my waist. Huh? Like they would be like, ye hi, and they just do this and all. And I'm like, they have no idea how messed up I am as a person or how depressed I am or what my problems are in life or my heartbreak. They just felt seen by this one character I did. इससे ज़्यादा क्या award चाहिए मुझे? I feel like if this human connection was made possible by this vessel that was born as Parvati, it's already a successful life. I don't know what else I'm chasing.
What is it that will bring you to the table to say yes to, a good Hindi film?
It was surprising to me after Kareeb Kareeb Single that I was only getting characters like that. I was so lucky. I was so lucky that Tanuja and Ghazal saw me.
Yeah.
They came down to Kochi. I was shooting for Takeoff at the time. So I was like fully ungroomed, fully Samira in the way I was. And they came and we were sitting in my hotel room and gave me a full narration. And I was sitting on the bed and giggling. And I'm thinking, ye mujhse ho payega ki nahi? And then I couldn't believe I was going to work with Irfan. I was like, wow, so this is how it happens. When you decide there's no option of failure, this is how chances will reach you, manifestation, all of that. And then I did it. And I wasn't ready for what happened after. It's this deafening silence after that, where all the characters were like Jaya Ji jaisa character. Not that that's bad. I still get so much love for Jaya Ji.
Yeah.
In fact, I am the age that she was in that film now. So I relate even better. You know, I was much younger then when I did that character and I still related, but now I am her. And it's become like such a comfort watch for people. But every character came in and said, ki, we want a woman who's like really lost in life, who's trying to find love, much older. Or then they'll come and say, like, will you do a character with like a child? You know, and I'm like, I'm okay with any of that. I've done Tangalan is a film, I have 5 kids in there. Like, I don't understand the aging and the desirability wala thing also
That
the industry
angle.
has set.
Correct.
Because I don't know how I'm undesirable if I have children. But at the same time, you'd say that my value comes from me having children also. So there's that. That's a different category. Sorry, what was your question?
What will get you to say yes to a Bollywood
Yeah.
film?
Okay, Bollywood film. Yes. Put me outside of the box. Like, give me an opportunity to audition. Like, that's my first ask with anybody. Like, I see that somebody's making something, my first thing is like, can you allow me to fail? Let me show you what I can do. Maybe you'll hate it, but without you trying it out, you won't know. So you've only seen me in dramatic roles. You don't know how good I could be in comedy. But I also don't know how good I could be in comedy. मैं घर में बैठ के अपने आप तो कॉमेडी नहीं कर सकती. तो I go for improv classes. I go for these acting workshops, which are the theatre-based ones. That's the only place I'm able to like knead out this muscle.
Correct.
And then I'm getting more confidence. So I'm actually putting out feelers everywhere. Ki like, if you give me the chance. So you know the story about how Jodie Foster got Silence of the Lambs?
No, tell me.
Favorite story. So basically, she was already doing a lot of films and she did Accused. And have you seen Accused?
No, I haven't.
Accused is again one of the most powerful performances of hers. But Jonathan Demme had already worked with Michelle Pfeiffer in his previous project. And she had heard about this Silence of the Lambs being made.
Michelle had heard about it.
No, Jodie had heard about it. And she was certain ki Michelle ko hi lenge.
Because she's worked with him.
She's worked with him
He
and
knows her.
they have a, you know,
Can-
it's like Yorgos and Emma Stone. Like,
You know it's
yeah, you know it's going to
Yeah.
be them. Like, it's
They'll
hard
team
to
up.
break that little
Correct.
Siamese connection at
Yeah.
this point. But she went and she requested for an audition. They were gracious enough. They're like, ठीक है, कर लो और जाओ घर. ऐसे. She did the first audition and she failed.
Wow.
She was terrible.
Jodie Foster was
Yeah.
terrible. That line, I don't know how to fathom, but
She was saying this. I would never say this. But they said, thank you for coming in. We'll let you know. She had the audacity, which is the key word here, to ask them, can I have a redo?
do it again.
And they're like, we can't waste our time on this, right? But they did. And she nailed it and got the part. So it's the audacity of it. So if I am in Bollywood, I'm coming with a huge 25 kilo bag of audacity. There's nothing else I have. आपके पास क्या है? मेरे पास माँ है और audacity है. Audacity to come and tell you.
Another line that's going down.
Yeah,
today.
please. I have my mom and dad, yes, but I have audacity. Truckloads of it.
Is there an itch right now for you to do a genre or a character and you're wondering why has nobody offered me this?
I do have an itch. I have an itch to play like a dancer.
Nice.
I've never had that
Nice.
before.
You dancer, you mean what? Like in a particular form?
See,
as
it
such?
could be even something like Suspiria.
Ah, interesting.
It doesn't have to be a biopic of a dancer.
Yeah.
Although I'm not averse to that.
Or a Black Swan.
Or a Black Swan. The obsession on an artistic perfection thing, right?
Yeah.
Does an artist only achieve perfection when they're dead? That is such a beautiful film. Thank you. I've just gone down a memory lane. But yeah, I think dancer, because I think I'm not trained as a dancer. I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer, but I have not practiced it long enough, so I won't say that I'm now a Bharatanatyam. I did train and I did do Arangetram and all that. But I feel if I knew the moves and if I knew the discipline to it, went for classes, there are times now I'm experiencing music differently. That when I'm listening to music sometimes, I can see the choreography. I can see how my body wants to move in my brain. Now I don't have the knowledge to transfer it into my body. So there are times I've wanted to choreograph and do music videos. Like I am actually in the process of developing music videos for a friend of mine.
Nice.
And I am
In what
enjoying
capacity?
as a director.
Oh, nice.
Now, I will need a choreographer because I don't have the know-how, but I will need to explain to them what is the movement I need in this because it's an integration between the camera movement, like the stuff that Childish Gambino has done, those kind of things, like Lil Sims.
Storytelling.
Storytelling through that, through movement, and making it so visceral for people to really feel the emotion behind a song, a lyric, a scream. And I don't think there are enough of a very indulgent space like that. But now the business side of it is where I'm getting stuck at, but the process of creating that is what I'm enjoying now. So if I do that, I feel like I might open more doors for me as an actor also to perform those characters, I hope. That's where I'm at.